What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about ADA Cardano today. Hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, my friends. Let's get into it. Okay, here we are at about 71 cents, just below 71 cents, seeing a low of about 55.7 cents this week and a massive recovery ever since. You are a little bit down, 11.9% down so far. I believe this week most coins dropped 22%, you dropped 32%, so you saw a little bit above average on the drop, but that's fair. That's totally fair because on this pump you saw a little bit above average, right? The average coin, you moved up 314%. The average coin during that same phase moved up anywhere from like 70 to 100%. So if the average coin this week dropped 22% and Cardano dropped a little bit more than that, I think that's fair, right? That's fair is fair. It's okay. And in fact, if we take a relative low here to the relative high of this move, you actually bounced right at the 0.5 area, which you can go back and watch maybe like 4 out of the 10 videos I've made in this day, literally. There's a lot of cryptos that are bouncing right at their 0.5. A lot are bouncing at their 0.5, and I think that's a significant area to find support at. You don't normally find significance at the 0.5, but when you do, you get significant bounces, and that's a pretty significant bounce. You dropped 32% from the high to the low. From the low to where you are now, you're up 27% from that low, so that's a pretty nice bounce to have in 1 week's time, right off the 0.5, an area that also you found resistance at before, right? You're finding support at previous areas of resistance back here, previous areas of support, even for a little bit right here, and a little bit of support right there. And again, at your 0.5 of that relative fib there, I think that's totally fine. From a high to a low here, you went all the way up to your 1414, pulled all the way back to your golden ratio zone. That's a bit extreme. That's pretty volatile of a move that you had, but it's fine. It's normal. As long as you're above the golden ratio, I'm fine with that. Getting back above the 886, very key, very nice to see. So you're at 70.86 cents now. The goal, I guess, would be to get above 71.7 cents. If you could get this week in the next 19 hours to close above there, great. That's awesome. If it closes below, it's fine. It's not a problem at all. It really isn't a problem. I just think to suggest that you're being productive and you are getting ready to move higher, I think a close above the 886 is always a good thing. Okay, it's always a good thing. So closing above 71.70 or 71.7 cents, I think it's a good thing to do. Beyond all that, just looking at this for what it is, I think it's very obvious that Cardano is in a bull flag. It's in a bull flag pattern, right? That's what it is. You've got this corrective phase, 1, 2, 3 moves down. If you look at this thing for what it is, we look at it on a daily basis, it literally is 3 moves to the downside, okay? Or not 3 moves, but 3 moves overall. What I mean is this: you move down once, then you moved up here, that's your second wave, and your third wave down. Corrective phases tend to be 3-wave patterns. If we click on this here, we go to Elliott correction wave. Corrective waves, if this was your wave 1, this was your wave 2, and then this was your wave 3, ABC. It's a corrective wave, and I don't have it drawn appropriately. Some people might draw from the lows and the highs. Maybe that's the proper way to draw it, whatever. But you get what I'm saying, or hopefully you get what I'm saying. This is a proper corrective wave, as defined by the fibs, as defined by the price, as defined by Elliott wave theory. It looks perfect, as defined by a bull flag. It's perfect. On a daily RSI perspective, you are oversold. You're very oversold. In fact, where you went to was about the 20. It's an area that you bounced from before, and before here, what did you do both of those times? Well, here you bounced, you saw a nice little recovery, and inevitably you went lower. Here you bounced, you had a nice recovery, you didn't go lower, you moved sideways and then moved up. So essentially both times you either consolidated and then moved down, or consolidated and then moved up. Not a whole lot of conclusiveness. I'm sorry, I circled it. It should have been all this. You consolidated for a long time and then you moved up. Not really that conclusive, but still in a relatively short amount of time, you did see a nice little pop. How much was this? If this is what you saw in a down move, I'm going to assume that in an up move, it's only going to be bigger. But from a low to a high, that was a 29% move essentially. From this bounce on the RSI down here, from that low to that high, what'd you see? 44%. Of course, you've already dropped, you've already bounced a lot right from here, but from this low, from the low in the RSI, if you were to see a similar move, 28%, 44%, something like that would take you to 87 cents, $1, something like that. This is a daily basis, so I would expect, within the next week or two, certainly by the end of the month, Cardano is back above, if not around $1, something like that. Going into the end of the month, I think Cardano will start to make its move. I think over the next week, potentially over this next week or two, you could expect to see it consolidate. I don't think it'll be 2 weeks, but maybe over the next week, week and a half, you expect it to consolidate between about this price at 71 cents to about 82 cents. And then going into not the coming week, but the week after, so this next week for Cardano might be boring. Just prepare for it to be boring. It might not be, but if it's any indication as to what we did the last couple times we bounced off this area, it took some time. Even if it moved up, it did take a little bit of time to consolidate, to figure itself out. And you've kind of been doing that for a little while. Maybe it could be as early as next week that you start moving up, but all I'm thinking is it might take 7 days or so to consolidate before we really start moving up again. The following 7 days, so 7 days from now, after that period, the following 7 days is likely when we'll begin moving up. We'll see prices around $1, and at that period, that's about a week and a half from now, 2 weeks from now, that would be the end of the month that I think Cardano's at again, around $1, moving up higher. Going into March, I fully suspect that Cardano will begin moving higher. It'll see the highest prices it's seen this whole bull cycle, and we likely will complete this kind of move all the way up. If we look at this from a high, the August 2021 high, to the low that we had here in December 2022, we hit the golden ratio, pulled back to the 382, found support there. Likely the next target area would be the 786 to the 886, of which is $1.75 to $2.30. $1.75 to $2.30. If you look at this thing right there from its current price, that would mean Cardano, the expected move would be anything from 150% to 225%, likely over the next month and a half. I don't expect you'll be there by the end of February. I accept that you could be there, but I more would think that those are end of March, middle March targets. So Cardano being a little bit boring right now, and it's going to give you more opportunity, I think, over this next week to get in. It's going to be a little bit boring still, but I think over the coming weeks, especially toward the end of this month and going into the beginning of March, that's when things will pick up. That's when things will get exciting, and you'll see that next phase up where you'll consolidate again, right? I do not believe that's the end of the cycle. I don't believe 231 to $1.80. I don't believe that's the end of the cycle at all. I just think that's your next stopping point. End of the cycle is likely going to be something at $6.22, $15, or higher than that. I actually do like the idea of Cardano going near $20, even above $20 by the end of the cycle. I don't think you hit $80, but 30 to 40 I could see. $15 above that, I think I could see that as well. $6 at a minimum, right? And that's again, that's like at the end of the year. So that's nowhere near this time frame. Of course, if I'm wrong, and we rip up to this in a lot quicker fashion, we see this by the end of March, well, you guys, we're going to have to rethink our game plan. Cardano's going a lot higher than $30 by the end of the year, that's for sure. But we're just talking about things that may or may not happen. My genuine expectation would be that by the end of the cycle, Cardano is around $20. If it's above 20, 30 to 40 at the highest, but I think probably around $20 would be my best guess. And then by the end of February, we're thinking around $1. By the end of March, we're thinking probably around $2, if not around $2.30. So I got nothing else for you. Expect Cardano to be a little bit boring this week. That's okay. It probably moves up a little bit, right? But if you're looking for a green light, if it's a good time to buy or not, I think it is a good time to buy. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor, but if you're a Cardano fan, I think that it is going to do well. I think this is a great time to buy right here. So I got nothing else for you. If you liked the video, hit the like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye.